Imagine an object the size of Manhattan, not an asteroid or comet bound to the rules of our solar system, but something that entered from the darkness between stars. This body, called 3I, Atlas, became only the third confirmed interstellar visitor to pass through our cosmic neighborhood. At first, its path was as expected, an inbound curve around the Sun, a brief swing through the inner system, and then an escape back into the void. But then, something happened that defied every calculation. Astronomers noticed a shift, subtle but undeniable. 3I, Atlas had turned back. This was not the kind of mistake that could be explained by faulty numbers. The world's observatories had locked onto it, tracking its every move with precision. Objects like Oumuamua and Borisov, the two earlier interstellar visitors, had followed predictable hyperbolic paths. They came, they passed, they left. Atlas should have done the same. Yet here it was, pivoting in space with a smooth and deliberate grace, as though ignoring the gravitational script written for it. That moment changed everything. A rock does not change its mind. The implications spread like shockwaves. If this was not a natural fragment drifting endlessly, then it was something else, something guided. The idea many had resisted for decades, that interstellar visitors might be more than debris, suddenly seemed unavoidable. Scientists compared it to Oumuamua's strange acceleration, a puzzle still unresolved. But this was more dramatic. This was not a nudge. It was a turn. And with that turn came the weight of suspicion, technology. Perhaps a drive powered by radiation, perhaps something far beyond our understanding. The silence that accompanied it made the event even more unsettling. No transmissions, no signals, nothing to explain its intent. It simply shifted course, wordless and unyielding. The way Atlas turned was not clumsy or chaotic. It was efficient, conserving momentum, bending into a trajectory that seemed calculated. That precision was what rattled astronomers most. Natural forces tend to be messy. Comets vent jets of gas when they shift, asteroids tumble without order. Atlas moved with elegance. If there was propulsion, it was hidden. No flash of fuel, no plume of debris. Some speculated about invisible sails, electromagnetic steering, or even mechanisms we cannot yet imagine. None of the explanations satisfied the evidence, but all pointed toward the same unsettling conclusion. This was not behaving like a rock. The cultural impact was immediate. In cities across the world, conversations buzzed. Was this contact? A warning? A test? Media outlets alternated between awe and alarm, some heralding discovery, others whispering about invasion. Artists painted visions of the silent traveler, while writers turned to stories of watchers in the sky. For ordinary people, it was enough to know that something out there had moved against the current of nature, and that humanity was now on the receiving end of the gaze. Children asked their parents if aliens were real. Families wondered what would happen next. Governments convened in secrecy, demanding updates from scientists. Religious leaders offered interpretations, some hopeful, some fearful. Within academia, old taboos dissolved. Theories once dismissed as fringe, about interstellar probes and alien engineering, were suddenly debated openly. Graduate students found themselves presenting on propulsion systems that had lived only in speculation. Professors once ridiculed for daring to suggest artificial origins were now asked for commentary. The turn of Atlas cracked open a door that could no longer be shut. And still, the object remained silent. No signal, no explanation. Just a steady, deliberate arc deeper into the inner system. The unknowns piled up. Was it heading somewhere specific? Was it studying us? Was this its first visit, or merely the first we noticed? The lack of answers made the mystery heavier, pressing on the human imagination. For centuries, the night sky has been a stage of predictability, its motions charted and trusted. Farmers planted by it, sailors navigated by it, scientists mapped it with confidence. But now, one point of light betrayed that trust, shifting from background actor to active participant. The symbolism is as profound as the science. For so long, humanity looked outward with curiosity, assuming the cosmos was indifferent, waiting to be explored. But the turn of Atlas suggested something else, that perhaps the universe is not only observed, but observing. That sometimes, the secrets we seek look back at us. This was not a message carved in symbols or beamed across space. It was a gesture, quiet but unmistakable, a maneuver that said, "We are here, and we are capable." In that moment, the familiar rules bent. No longer was this an interstellar stone caught in the sun's pull. It was something else, something that chose to act. For the first time in living memory, humanity was confronted with something that refused to be dismissed as natural chance. It wasn't a meteor blazing into the atmosphere, nor an asteroid brushing past our planet on its calculated trajectory. Those we could predict, prepare for, and categorize. This was different. This was an object that seemed to decide. The realization was staggering. The sky, which for so long had been a stage of predictable actors, suddenly revealed a performer that moved with intent. That moment redefined the very notion of security. Defense was no longer simply about guarding against human rivals or shielding ourselves from nature's blind blows. Now, the possibility of intelligence beyond Earth had to be considered. The timing made the revelation even heavier. The world was already grappling with rapid technological change, the strains of climate disruption, and tensions between nations. And then, above it all, came an object that broke the rules of the cosmos itself. It was as if the universe had chosen this moment to remind us of our smallness, pressing the urgency of cooperation in the face of something no border could contain. For many, the greatest fear was not the object itself, but our inability to face it divided. Suddenly, the idea that humanity must act as one ceased to be a lofty dream and became a practical necessity. Artists were among the first to translate that fear and wonder into something tangible. Murals appeared in cities, showing a solitary traveler bending its course to glance back at Earth. Poets filled pages with verses about being noticed by the stars. Filmmakers drafted scenes of silent craft moving with purpose across the heavens. The symbol of turning back became central, a gesture that seemed to carry awareness, as though the cosmos itself had acknowledged us. Creativity gave people a way to process what reason alone could not explain. For millennia, astronomers had catalogued the heavens with increasing accuracy. They charted comets and predicted their returns centuries in advance. They plotted asteroids with remarkable precision. They mapped planets in their steady orbits. But not once in all that history had an interstellar body behaved like this. That singularity of behavior shattered assumptions. 3I, Atlas was no longer just another entry in the list of wanderers. It had become a symbol, of possibility, of fear, of awe. The simple act of turning transformed it into something we could not ignore. Ethical debates soon followed. Should humanity try to signal this visitor? Or was silence the wiser path? Supporters of communication argued that ignoring the chance for contact might be humanity's greatest missed opportunity. Opponents warned that drawing attention could be reckless, exposing us to risks we could not begin to measure. Governments debated ownership of the observation itself. Was this a matter for all, or for those with the technology to study it most closely? International bodies tried to step in, but their authority faltered in the face of something so unprecedented. The ripple spread further still. Historians compared this to the great turning points of human history. The first encounters between distant civilizations, the discovery of new continents, the Copernican shift that moved Earth from the center of the cosmos. Each had redefined culture. The turn of Atlas, they argued, might be a hinge moment of similar scale, one that future generations would look back on as a dividing line between eras. The technological community reacted with humility and envy. Humanity's own spacecraft, after decades of effort, had only just reached the edge of the solar system. By comparison, the maneuver of Atlas seemed effortless, a gesture beyond our reach. Engineers scoured the data for any clue that might inspire breakthroughs. The irony was striking. The very object that unsettled us could also accelerate our quest to travel among the stars. Religion and philosophy were transformed as well. In temples, churches, and mosques, leaders wrestled with questions of meaning. Some saw confirmation of long-held beliefs in multiple worlds and divine plurality. Others felt destabilized, forced to reinterpret sacred traditions in light of a universe that might now be watching. New rituals emerged, pilgrimages to observatories, prayers beneath telescopes. Silence itself became a kind of scripture, inviting interpretation. And still, Atlas offered no answers. It transmitted no message, revealed no purpose. Its action was its only communication. That silence made every interpretation possible and every conclusion uncertain. Some saw hope. Others saw danger. Many saw a mirror reflecting our own insecurities, our ambitions, our fears of insignificance. The object became a canvas upon which humanity projected its deepest questions. One truth, however, stood firm. The turn of Atlas marked a moment that could not be undone. The cosmos had shown itself capable of more than blind mechanics. It had acted, or